Season 2 starts today, and we're going to be looking at some of the changes that are happening with the update. And with the new season, there's a new battle pass, and now that I'm officially a COD partner, you can actually use code JGOD in the store if you're looking to show a little bit of extra support. So go ahead and use that if you're interested. Events, there's going to be search and deploy. The source of Nebula 5 production has been identified. Operators may infiltrate at their own risk. This event is split over several phases that will roll out over the coming weeks. With launch, players can expect to see the new Caldera Clash limited time mode, which is Clash we had before, explorable POIs or points of interest, including the chemical factory, as well as various underground chemical weapon research labs, enemy AI threats defending new POIs, and then we have new gameplay elements, including the portable decontamination station and Nebula 5 round. We got Caldera Clash. This mode features 2 new events, double point zones, bonus point crates. I'm not a huge fan of Clash, but I know a lot of people use that for XP. I wonder if it's still a good option when it comes through. Rebirth Iron Trials is going to come later on. This is going to be Iron Trials, which is essentially health and mode and stuns and all the different mechanics, way they were slightly different, the sniping. But it's going to be on Rebirth Island with the regular 40-ish player count. No respawn, so it'll be like normal Battle Royale, but on the smaller map using Iron Trials. I think this is a test, a sample. In the meantime, here's a sneak peek at the calling card reward. So I guess this is going to be, that's going to be kind of interesting. Warzone victory, but it's on Rebirth Island. Caldera Resurgence in season. So this will just be the Resurgence mode where if you die, you get a chance to respawn in if your teammates are still alive up until about zone 4. Battle Royale adjustment. We're stripping Battle Royale down and moving back to the basics for Season 2. We want Battle Royale and Vanguard Royale to each have their distinct identities. To achieve this, we are focusing in on what makes these rule sets unique. The tools we provide our players, the pacing, and the objective. So essentially, some people will organically prefer one mode over the other, and that's perfectly fine. They're going to try to cater these modes to attract those people and make sure that they're happy with their own individual mode, so they're not forced to play the Battle Royale or forced to play Vanguard Royale. So it's a huge difference there. The public events that will be in rotation for selection are supply choppers, fire sales, jailbreaks. No public events will activate during the infield sequence. So you're not going to have your HUD cluttered up with those heavy drops or any of those types of things right at the start of the match. Contracts that will be in rotation during the matches are recons, bounties, most wanted, scavengers, and supply runs. So they've actually removed away that most big game bounty, which I think is a downside. I preferred it. It was a little bit overpowered. You get 1 kill, you get an advance plus some money. So maybe there's some tweaking to be done there, but it is what it is. Loot, economy rebalance, and then ground weapons update. Obviously, that means we might be changing towards something other than the MP40 for floor loot, and that could change what perks you run. Maybe you have to run overkill if the floor loot's dirt and there's not really a close range option with a lot of viable ammo or mag options. Vanguard Royale adjustments. So we've been really happy with the response and feedback to Vanguard Royale, with a lot of sentiment emphasizing how the mode feels fresh and different from the core Battle Royale experience, which is what I was kind of talking about earlier. With that said, we want to go all in on these differentiators and spread the 2 modes out to offer more variety in how players choose to experience Warzone. Loadout drops. Expedited the first loadout drop event from the start of second zone to the first when it begins to close in Vanguard Royale only. No stun grenades are allowed in loadouts, and so that's going to be restricted. Thermites are allowed in loadouts, unrestricted, so they change those. Public events, the duration of the fire sale has been reduced. In rotation, you'll have fire sale, jailbreaks, resurgence, restock, cash drops, and then heavy weapon drops, which they removed from the beginning, and these should all be aligned. I think they just tabbed it over a little bit. Loot, dead silence removed from the ground loot, stun grenades removed from the ground loot, thermites added to the ground loot, UAVs added to the ground loot, economy rebalance, ground weapon rebalance, which obviously that's going to be set aside there. UAV changes, UAVs removed from the buy stations, and UAVs are available as contract rewards. So Vanguard Royale is going to play a little different, and we'll kind of see how that plays out. A ghost is not going to be all that valuable in this mode if UAVs are harder to come by. If you have to do contracts, you can't just jump on a buy station. So interesting change. I'm sure those players will enjoy that, because obviously that's what they're catering towards. So we'll see how that plays out though. But that is only specifically for the Vanguard Royale, those second changes. The map, Chemical Factory, This newly named chemical factory has a similar layout to the location it replaced, but with several noticeable differences, including enemy soldiers who protect the facility. So this is going to be interesting with the AI stuff, and kind of go through there. And then we got the underground chemical weapon research lab. There's 7 research laboratories are distributed around Caldera via visible via hand-drawn yellow circles on the TAC map. So those will probably be some areas where it'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Let's go check it out. Might be hot initially for people to kind of just look around. Hopefully there's some challenges you get for going to them, because then that would probably encourage more play of those areas, and we'll see how that goes. Before we dive into specific gameplay additions and changes, we want to outline some changes that apply across the entire game. An increase has been made and applied to weapon XP earn rates, because a lot of people are concerned about it taking so long. This doesn't apply to Vanguard. That's specifically in other stuff. So Vanguard weapons can be saved as a custom mod and loadout. So we get the armory blueprints that we can save, which are 10 attachments, so you could quick swap without thinking, what the heck am I supposed to use? 5 default loadouts have been updated, and the amount of cash players gathered through loot has decreased overall. New features: redeploy balloon. These enable players to reposition themselves tactically to traverse to new areas. These can be destroyed or repaired for a minor fee. Side note, we recommend steering clear if you're flying nearby. NPC defensive threats. New AI units can be found in various new locations, including the guard towers that surround the new chemical factory and underground labs. Portable decontamination stations. Stations create a bubble of breathable air when in the gas that lasts 13 seconds. So if you manage to get 4 of them, you can get a whole minute out of it. You got your gas mask, you got stims. It could be pretty interesting. I wonder if somebody's gonna make some cool plays with this. These can be vehicle mounted for new gameplay strategies, but will reveal your, that is kind of crazy that you can, I didn't even think about that part. You can throw it on a vehicle, and then like if you have a Bertha, you can continue staggering them, move around, and then get back into the zone. It could, interesting plays. I don't think you're going to experience it. It's going to be game altering every match, but some interesting scenarios that could pop up. This ammunition gives players the ability to kill enemies and leave behind a small gas cloud, and can be used with any weapon type for multiple interesting combinations. Armored convoy, this is later in season. Patrolling Caldera, these are those trucks they talked about. Then we got the Nebula 5 bombs, so these will also come in season. So we'll have staggered content. We're going to focus on the balloons, the ammo, and then in a week or two, then we have the next thing. A week or two, we have the next thing. And hopefully that helps to not like break the game, because obviously as they've added things, there's something like, hey, you broke something, you fixed it, bro, you know, so hopefully that helps with that. And then we got the bomber planes. Takes the skies, the new ultimate armored squad vehicle. And then general weapons that spawn across Caldera have been adjusted to following ground loot, supply boxes, contract reward. Dead Silence is now classified as legendary orange loot, so it's going to be super rare. Updated to several modes: Battle Royale, Vanguard, Royale, Plunder. The rebalance of the amount of ground loot caches that spawn, as well as decreasing the size of plunder cache piles across the mode. Final Circle and Battle Royale modes is now much more likely to end on peak, which we've talked about. And then gameplay adjustments. Aim assist. While stunned on controller, aim assist will now scale properly and not be causing an unintended increase of aim assist strength. I did this video like almost 2 years ago explaining this mechanic and how broken it is, and it's good they finally were able to figure out a way to address it. Maybe they thought that it was important to have that mechanic, I don't know, but either way it's been addressed. Armor plating, now prioritize refilling 1 plate of armor before filling partially damaged plates. Nice quality of life change. Ascender's players can now exit an ascender with the jump button. Added a prompt to exit an ascender while ascending. Gas mask will no longer be auto-equipped while aiming down sights. Whilst the gas mask will still deplete in ADS, the animation will no longer interrupt and will wait for the players to go back to hip fire before equipping. Players will take damage as normal while they are in ADS without their mask equipped. Oh, that's a little different. So your gas mask will still start ticking because it's not on your face, but it's still in the gas. Like as if it was on the floor, you know, it has a little ticks. But this time around, when you put it on, okay, that's a little bit different. So you're just not saving the gas mask and it doesn't equip. It's still burning and you're losing health. Oh, that's a different, I like how they did that. Gasoline canister will no longer detonate when hit by a stun grenade. Can now be thrown through glass windows. Players are less likely to accidentally pick them up. Kill damage zone is reduced with the addition of fall off damage. So before, maybe you had to be within 10 meters to die. Now it's maybe within 5. So you're less likely to have an accidental death, or people have to be a little bit more precise with how they're using them. Gulag, footsteps of spectators are less audible. Further improvements will be made into the season. This is something we've talked about in multiple gulags. Like, I can't really hear footsteps because their teammates are running around. Mantling and traversal. Increased mantle height for improved vertical navigation and traversal, so it should be easier to mantle stuff. Various map improvements to aid traversal and player leading. Various improvements to visual and texture streaming while traversing on console. So this is the one big one that I'm really concerned about, and I'd like to see the feedback in the comment section. If you're on console and your game still plays like dirt, let me know. I really want to be aware of that type of thing, because one of those, I don't play on a console, so I can't experience what that's like. I play on a computer with a controller, and that's kind of how it is. Parachutes are now the same speed going forward as they are sideways. What? They nerfed sideways gliding? No way. Can now be pulled at lower vertical heights, so you're less likely to splat into the ground. Can now be pulled sooner after exiting the plane, so immediately, and can now be cut when closer to the ground. So all that stuff, because before sometimes you'd be close and you're like, damn, break the chute. Vehicle adjustments reduced or in instances remove collision of various assets that would improve ground vehicle traversal. Fighter planes health has been slightly reduced. Weapon damage has been reduced. Fighter planes no longer able to auto target skydiving players. Collision has also been adjusted to alleviate instant death in some circumstances. Where the plane would just explode. Anti-aircraft flak damage increased. All heat is clear once the overheat has cooled down. Heat dissipation rate has been increased. Squad transport improved handling, speed, and off-road performance. Utility truck speed. So they just made those in line probably with the Vernance vehicles. UI and UX. So updates to play tab have made possible for the Rebirth Resurgence mode to now use the squad drop down. Box has been improved for convenience. So it's going to say duos, trios, quads for I think the next 5 weeks. The prompt for dropping a single armor plate now says drop single, drop stack. The pause screen now displays any running events that can be clicked through to display a summary of the events. The moving tram in the capital is now shown on the TAC map for situational awareness, like the train was in Verdansk. Show controls and fading behavior has now been added to the HUD on the all Warzone vehicles. Now disable this option. This is a new vehicle located in the HUD. Also has a little always show vehicle controls. That's kind of interesting. You can kind of eliminate some of those things. Obviously, you know how to drive the car or whatever, right? Added pitch up and pitch down keybinds for the airplane. New keybinds are located on keyboard. That's cool. In-match splash screens messages have been disabled for spectators. Bug fixes. Tons of bug fixes. Barrel. Ooh, recoil behavior adjusted. For known issues, go to the Trello board. New weapons. We got the KG-M40, which is assault rifle. This is probably tier 15 in the battle pass. Workhorse assault rifle, natural, speedy, steady, and accurate. So it's kind of a laser beam. Whitley, the light machine gun. Heavy, long-range machine gun. Cumbersome, but consistent like an LMG. And then the new unlock mission for Vanguard, Cooper Carbine. There's a challenge for that, for these 3 weapons. Weapon adjustments. A tip for parsing the following changes: an attribute can increase and be detrimental, or decrease and be beneficial. While considering the below changes, it is recommended to focus on the down from or up from language. Down from will always indicate a negative, and while up from will always indicate a positive. They must have saw our feedback about like, damn, these patch notes are confusing. All of our Vanguard weapons have had their ballistic behavior adjusted to more closely match MW and Black Ops Cold War weapons. And what that means, ballistic behavior, that usually means bullet velocity and the way it travels and bullet penetration, because the bullet velocity was like 20% slower in general, and sometimes even more than that for Vanguard weapons over MW or Cold War. And that's what made Cold War weapons, I think, so dominant in the current meta. If you liked Cold War weapons, but they were just dominant in general with TTKs, easy use, all that stuff. So Assault Rifle Alpha, this is the SCG. ADS speed decreased to, so it's down from, so that's a nerf. to 0.255. So that's where it says down from. That is a nerf. Then we got the Cold War, a recoil deviation increased. So they nerfed the C58. They made it a little harder to use because it was a little too good, which we talked about. Volkssturmgewehr added speed decreased to 0.265, down from 0.26. These future, just in case any of them are watching, this should just say nerfed by 0.2% or something like that. I don't know. Like, I think it's just simpler. I don't think anyone knows what 0.265 is in terms of speed. Handgun, the Klauser bullet velocity increased to 390 from 353. So a jump there. Not that I don't think anyone was really using that. Mid damage increased to 16, up from 15. Light machine gun Charlie, and I believe that's the Bren. Lower arm damage multiplier decreased. So it got nerfed 3 different damage ones. Lower torso, which is the stomach, right arm, and then left arm. Recoil behavior adjusted for the M1 Grand. And then we have the sniper rifle, the 3-line ADS speed nerfed. It got down from there. And it says ADS movement speed increased by 27. I guess it was a little too slow. Gun bob decrease, so less idle sway, I believe. Movement speed increase, so they kind of helped out with that. And then neck damage decrease, so a little bit of nerf. ADS speed decreased down from, holy, they nerfed the hell out of the Kar 98. Damn. There are 2 parts which comprise the stats of the Kar 98 Vanguard, the weapon and the basic optic. In this case, the Kar 98, much of its ADS speed stats were coming from its optics. We have decided to take that ADS speed and spread it more evenly amongst its detachments. So it got several other changes, but I guess we'll see those in another section with attachments. Then the Type 99 ADS speed increased to 0.4 up from, so that's an improvement, and the bob decreased. And this is the MP40. Okay, so the range decreased to 422 down from there. So it's about a 10% difference there. And then we have mid damage range decrease from 600 down from 612, so minor there. The Type 100 gun kick adjusted. Well gun maximum damage range decrease, so nerf there, kind of in line with the MP40 because it was too good up to a little bit too far. And then general cleared up pros and cons and stat bar inconsistency for most Vanguard attachments. As we know, there's 70 per gun, so there's a lot there. Incendiary base burn damage decreased to 9, down from 6. And this is almost like you're rocking EOD to a certain extent. So EOD will even cut that down further. So it's gonna be those less instances where you probably run around a corner and then you down from the burn damage. No longer decreases damage range by 5%, so it got a slight buff there. Now decreases damage by 10%. That's so trading damage now for damage later will have many players still equipping it with incendiaries, wondering why they lost an even or slightly advantaged gunfight. For now, incendiaries will provide a niche use on specific weapons where shots are intermittently hit or fires unreturned. Players with above average aim will want a new type of ammo. Yeah, they're basically making it not meta. If you're good, you don't really get the benefit of this unless you start missing shots. So bad players will benefit, but you're already dead. So incendiary probably no longer meta because of these changes right here. Vanguard bullet velocity increased by 10%, down from 30. Holy, that is a huge nerf. But they change the bullet velocity on the other end. As a result of lengthened monopoly over bullet velocity on Vanguard attachments build, diversity and weapon viability has taken a hit. By shifting this bullet velocity to a wider variety of attachments, we are aiming to provide, so they're going to probably put it into the barrel because that only makes sense. Lengthen aside from having further changes in coming increased diversity and munition category. These categories will ensure the category fulfills more of the plays out supplemental role for builds rather than necessary enabler because it was guaranteed. Long range, bullet velocity, you need lengthen. Holy, good thing they updated the pages where you see the attachment because a lot of pros and cons. The optics have adjusted their appearance and behavior. This potentially include changes to ADS speed, position, magnification. So pretty much most of them. Rear grips. Oh my God. They changing everything. But this makes sense. This happened the same thing in Cold War where it's like none of these things work. But now they're actually addressing them to fit the gameplay model that Modern Warfare set in the beginning where you use this. And that's how you get this. If you want to get an SMG build or mobility build, sniper support, use these sets of attachments, and it's opening that up. A little bit longer update, which that's a good thing. Hopefully the game works and it functions, because if it does, I think a lot of people are going to be excited to be playing Warzone again. Appreciate y'all supporting the content. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.